Hello, hello, hello. I do not have my camera on this morning or this afternoon because I'm just a hot mess. So I'll have it on later tonight. But we will wait for some people to come in here. And I hope everybody is doing well. I know there's some other people live, but I do want to touch base with everybody today. If you are having trouble hearing me, please let me know because I have my AC on and I don't think it's an issue, but we'll see. So I'm gonna wait to get some people in here. Hey Solo, how you doing? It's good to see you. But so I decided at the top so am monetized now, right? I keep forgetting to post my link, but anything I get from outside, okay, perfect. Outside of that and PayPal and stuff right now, I'm gonna use just to kind of update little like a lamp and stuff, little studio things. So but today we're gonna talk about a couple things. One is I Hey, Caddy, Texas. I'm so glad you're home. Hi, Grandma Sherry. I hope this is how you say your name. I'm really sorry if it's not. Somebody can correct me. Maybe Grandma Sherry. Kylie, I think is her name. I would. That's how I would say it. I haven't heard it spoken yet, but I guess that's how I say it. Sleuth Mom and I have gone back and forth, kind of texting about this case. Obviously, it's been gotten a lot of exposure. So I want to go over that case a little bit. And then I saw something yesterday that I was a little bit ashamed of myself and a little bit taken back. And it was that I had no idea hey Pamela, that there were 170 Native American people missing in New Mexico. So many that the FBI has released an entire list of these people so that we could. Oh no, Pamela, really? That's sad. So that they could get the public's help. So here's my issue with all of this is that I'm about to talk about Kylie, right? Which is awesome. But lately, I guess not just lately, all the time, we can't help but notice the lack of coverage with some cases and hey S Hackett and the amount of coverage with others. And I want to be very careful when I say this, okay? But I want you to understand that none of this is right. What's going on with please tell me if it's Kylie or Keely, I don't know. With her case is not right and I'm going to cover it. But we barely hear a thing about 170 Native American people. Within 24 hours of this young girl from California, this blonde, white, young girl missing, and I know we don't like to hear that, but let's be real. There was $50,000 raised for a reward. Okay. And an article or two about the Native American people. And then I got to thinking, okay, I got to thinking about, and this is my soapbox for the day, y'all. And don't tune out on me. Look, my daughter's a white blonde girl. I was talking to my husband about it, and I said, well, it's just like this is what I'm seeing. And he said, well, our daughter is white and blonde. And I said, yeah, and I want her to be looked for, but I don't want her to take precedence over somebody else's life either. If you look at Alexis Gabe's situation, yes, she gets attention and stuff, but hers was a domestic violence, which it's believed it was a domestic violence situation. Her body is still missing. The man that they assume killed her basically committed, like charged the cops in order to get shot. Um, it gets coverage, but not enough. I mean, they beg for help all the time for protests and stuff like that. almost to a very similar to Gabby's case. Alexis hasn't even been found yet. So how many people, so they believe in similar guys, it's very similar. In Alexis' case, they believe Marshall's mom knows where she is based on text messages that have been found. So why is no one on their front lawn throwing things? Do you see what I'm saying? Why in Gabby Petito's was there people blowing horns on the lawn of the laundries, but not at Alexis Gabe's? And I understand. I mean, right, if it was closer, maybe I could do it, but obviously it's 3,000 miles away. But I'm just saying we need to be more cognitive about it because I do believe that it is a thing. And I didn't before, and I do now. I guess I didn't like to before believe it was a thing. And none of it should happen to any of these babies or any of these people. Or what happened to Gabby is 100% not right. But we can't ignore the fact that we have a really, really messed up system right now. We can't ignore the fact that when I'm working on this map and this project right now, there's so many women missing in the San Antonio area down to Uvalde to the border, and there's such a crisis with trafficking and we're not talking about it. Like we can't ignore some of those things. So that's kind of my soapbox. And again, please hear me. Please, exactly. So please hear me before somebody clips this and runs with this. I am not saying that whatever happened to Gabby and whatever's happening with Kylie or wherever she is right at all. I'm just saying, as a creator, as a community, as a country, we need to start going, wait a minute. Like, wait a minute. Like, something needs to. Yes, exactly. I'm glad Gabby Petito's parents are suing Moab. We've all said that from the beginning. They should. But to me, so let it happen. Like, okay, so they're suing Moab. Awesome. Good. Go ahead. Do it. I'm going to focus on the people that need our help right now. Okay? They're completely capable of doing their thing. I'm going to focus on this. So I guess that's just my main point is it's just something I've had to say because I'm telling you guys I could say that because I'm a white girl with a blonde headed daughter, white daughter, and I'm going to be I'm going to be honest. I believe it. This is very hard for me to say. I believe she would be looked for instantly, and I can't say that about everybody else. So that I'm pretty Sleuth touched on this last night, and we both talked about it because we've been frustrated with it. But anyways, but again, none of this is at all bashing what is happening. It's wrong, and that's why I still will cover Kylie, and I will still. It was just shocking to me that in 24 hours, she had only been missing 24 hours, and the reward was 50,000, and like every creator possible was sharing it and talking about it, including me. And it's a little bit mind blowing. But without that being said, let's talk about her situation. Now, the Native American situation, I'm going to go over an article with you. But I will say that there is very little info on it, and we can keep digging into it, but uh, there is very little info on it. So here's Kylie. Again, Sleuth and I made a little slideshow here. Oh wait, duh. Oh, somebody left the nastiest comment on me earlier. Earlier, it was really sad. They said I lived in a trailer park and stuff, and I was like, okay. I mean, I don't, but I mean, at least I live somewhere. All right, so this is if I'm saying her name, somebody correct me, Keely or Kylie. She went missing August 6th at 12 between 12:30 and 1. Now that people have gotten that a little bit confused because they thought that that was Saturday night. It's not. It's August 6th, so it was actually she went missing um like in the night of that Friday. So it went into Saturday. So technically it was the 6th. I mean, beautiful girl, absolutely beautiful. She went missing in her Honda 2013 CRV, which is silver. They have not yet found the car. I know they've been handing out flyers and all that, and had been holding meetings, but at this point, nothing's been done. Now, I will say that there is one thing to be noticed is she does have several piercings. She also has a tattoo that says 17 on her, which, I mean, she's 16, so I was kind of surprised, but whatever. This is her car again that she went missing at. Now it says her cell. So here's the deal. It says her cell phone went out of service. Okay, at the party. But I want to tell you, I am not too surprised about that because, and I'm about to show you Google Earth. When I researched that and where it is, and some of the people that have commented on a campground webpage or Facebook page, it says there's absolutely no service whatsoever near or around that campground. So what I'm thinking is she probably got there, had no service, so her phone registered with no service, and then her phone most likely died. Did you, Sleuth? Okay, Sleuth, do you want to come up? I know kids are crazy for you in the day. If you want to, you're welcome. You know, we love you, but I know you've got little ones at your feet. I think that it's possible that maybe, well, that couldn't be because she talked to her friend. Interesting. Okay. So anyway, the car has not been found yet at all. Cell phone went out of service. So Sleuth, if you don't come up here, I'll send you the link if you do come up. I do want you to make sure I'm correct on this because this is what's being said, but what's being said by the media is not always factual. We know that. Um, this is apparently this party that they were at was a senior farewell party. There was 100 people of teens. Okay, thank you, Sleuth. So this is very important because what the media is saying is that these pictures were from that night, and I did not think that made sense, and neither did Sleuth Mom. We were like, who goes to a bonfire in that outfit? You know, so this is not from that night. So that's very good info. But this is just another picture of what Kylie. Here she is. Hey.
Jump in for a minute while everybody's kind of like being calm. But so
Okay.
um I got a hold of her. One friend is running the Instagram page that she was with that evening. And
Okay.
she said, because I specifically asked, I said, like, are those pictures of her in a dress? Are they from that day? And she said, no, these pictures are from her graduation party that they threw for her. The party, I asked if it had anything to do with the school or if it was like a high school going away party or anything along those lines. And she said, no, it had no school affiliation to it. It was
Oh,
like a pop up, like
what we talked about. Yeah.
yes. And so there was people of all ages there, from all areas there, and things like that. I guess it's kind of common for them to do these end of the year blasts, which is why the news, I think, in that area is referring to it as like a high school senior, going away party because they do it like a lot right in
Yeah,
that
there
same
was
area.
the screenshot I sent you. There was somebody trying to tell these people on their Facebook page that said, I have been to plenty of pop up raves. That's what it's called.
Mhm.
In Boca Truckee area as a high schooler. It was
Right.
posted, this party was posted on one of the many flyers going around
Right.
to Auburn, Reno, Truckee.
Right.
Do you guys know how big those places are?
Right. Yeah, there was a lot of people there, and it was a big party, but basically like what happened was the last time that her friend talked to her before she went to get a ride, like her friend called for a ride. Um
Okay.
she said that she was in no condition to drive. And
Ugh.
so she was going to sleep it off in the car basically. She was planning to stay there overnight. And
Oh
she
no.
doesn't think that she would have drove away. She doesn't think that she would have left that area on her own unless somebody offered to drive her, basically, like drive her in her car to her house or
Yep.
something along those lines. And so that's where the thought that this is now an abduction is coming from.
Oh wow.
I don't know if you've seen that, but a lot of the news reports are saying that now. They're referring to this as she was possibly abducted,
I
and so
have
that
seen
that brings a
parents of the
new level
kids
of
write that.
concern. Mhm.
Well, you've got, I mean, these kids, God bless them, right? They just are so naive, handing out flyers and stuff. This is a predator's dream type of thing.
Yes. And I was looking up her vehicle, 2013 doesn't quite have like the OnStar or the
Yeah.
GPS in it that they could easily pull up her vehicle. And so she very well could have been targeted by somebody if there was like a predator there or something along those lines, even just based on the fact that her vehicle was older. I 100% believe that that's why Naomi Irion was targeted because her car was so old. And
Well, we've
so
not, I
that's
mean, Natalie Holloway, it's not like we haven't seen these before.
right. Exactly. And so that's just kind of like the little bit of insight that I got into it. Her friend is on standby and is willing to answer any questions that we have.
Okay.
If you guys have questions, like please get me a list and I can send it to her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Um
for sure.
I don't know how I feel about having her on because she's a minor.
Yeah, you're
You know,
just at
it's like it's kind of like that gray area where it's like, do I expose her to this community or how we
true.
approach that? But I am in contact with her at this point. So
It doesn't sound like there was necessary, like young adults to me sounds like early 20s, right? So it doesn't
right.
sound like it was entirely well supervised either. Yes, there was Chris Booz there. Right?
Hmm.
Salute that, yes,
Yeah.
because that's
Hmm.
why they said, is her name
That's why
Kylie
they're
or
at
Keely? Because
what is it?
is it Kylie or Keely?
I
Her
think it's
name.
Kylie.
Kylie,
Kylie.
okay. That's why she wasn't gonna drive home, she was gonna sleep off in her car, and this was another, please, please tell your young kids to not go anywhere alone. But and from what I've been reading on the campsite webpage that it's my, if I'm correct, they weren't in it, they were near it.
Right.
Um
They were I can if you pull up the map, I can show you where it is on the
okay.
map.
It says that they are not, there's like no electricity either.
Hmm.
I mean it was oh
Literally bonfires was their
my
light.
gosh. Okay, so let me make sure I have it up
So
here.
go to the park, the playground. Sorry, I'm getting an echo from you, so I'm trying to like
Oh,
it's because I'm coming through your speakers, I'm sure.
oh, where did I go? Hold on. There we are. Okay. Here's the park.
Okay, so pull up like the that's where okay, so that right there is where they're meeting right now for the searches and stuff like that. Go to
Okay.
the Prosser Family Campground.
Which is right here. I just had it. Because there was something interesting I noticed. So here's the campground. That's the address for the campground, which is weird.
No, that's not it. Type in Prosser County or Prosser Family Campground.
Okay. My air conditioning just went on. Yeah, I was like, why is it near the highway? Yeah, that's, I was going to say, now that looks more like
Okay,
it. Okay. Oh, gosh.
pull it back a little bit. So on the right, see that water over there?
Right here. Yeah.
On the right, sorry.
Okay.
Okay, down at the end of this, like
Yeah.
waterway where it starts to dry out, that's where they were.
Oh, my gosh.
They had bonfires set up in that area.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, yeah, there's water, Pamela. As you guys can see, this is definitely, oh,
Well, and then the other thing that I was noticing, and I'm going to kind of go over this tonight, but you had got me her address. And if you go between this area right here and her home, there is a lot of, I would say, rough turns and, scary moments in the road that she could possibly have even crashed. And so
yeah,
that's concerning in itself if she would have tried to drive herself off. But from what one of the locals was telling me, um, the places where the road meets the water and different things like that are shallow enough, and that there's enough rocks and mountainous terrain in between the road and the lake, river, whatever you want to call it,
okay,
that they don't think that if she would have wrecked that she would be able to get far enough off the road that people wouldn't see her, if
okay.
that makes sense. So
Yep.
That's why they kind of pulled back the searches though, because they're really changing gears, and looking at this as a possible abduction, and
Now,
that's
you and I talked
terrifying.
last night, so I did look up her house and it's
Mhm,
nice. And but from her mom's Facebook page a couple years ago, she was homeschooled and during the winter they had to ski down. Yeah, I'll look at it. I'll get it in closer. Ski basically down their driveway. Uh, do you know if she was homeschooled? Like, cause she's only 16, so I doubt she had. I mean, she graduated at 16.
you know what, I didn't actually ask. I can though.
Yeah, I'm just curious because, and I don't mean this badly, but there is times, obviously, when they can be a little more, like 16's young to graduate high school.
Right. But it's
But
not that uncommon for homeschoolers, like, my son will be
no, right?
16,
Yeah,
16 and a half whenever he graduates.
yep. Okay, so no, exactly. So this is. It looks like here's the campground.
Mhm,
And yeah, Chris wanted to see it. And if you can see, guys, over there's the water. They were down where the water meets the basically where the that were. Oh my goodness, that is such a ways out there.
mhm.
Oh man. So you're going live tonight about that?
Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna be going over,
At
I
what
mean, we're
time?
all gonna end up covering her. I think this would be a good one for us all to panel about, to be completely honest, and bounce off of
Yeah,
each
I'm not
other.
gonna keep going individual lives if you're gonna do it. I'd rather just do it together, like on your channel or whatever, so that it gets more awareness.
You know what though? The more that we put her name out there, the more it's gonna help.
True.
The more it'll hit the algorithm. So by all
That's
means,
true.
dig into it.
That's true.
Especially because, like, whenever you're on your own live, like, I know that there's different things I dig into things differently than you do sometimes,
Yeah.
and so even just putting the information out there separately and then bringing it together, it helps, you
Yep.
know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So,
Oh, really, Pamela? A similar case. She was missing, found later in the water in her car. Went down a boat. So that was Sleuth's original like concern, or what we talked about last night was that possibility. But now, to me, uh, it does seem so much more like a
I'm gonna have
unless
to send
did
you.
unless did she have a curfew, and so was she worried that?
I mean, I don't think so because the way it's sounding, she wasn't reported missing until that next morning.
Gosh, this is wild. See, there's so many of those details we don't know. Like, did mom think she was at somebody's house? It's just so,
Mhm.
yeah. Wow, I didn't know it was that far out there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
And they've
it's
searched all those
definitely
areas.
yeah. Yep.
Wow.
And I mean, the locals are searching still, but it sounds like from what I'm understanding that police are like switching gears already. And like that's quick. That's very quick for them to be like, oh, gotta go do this now. You know what I mean? So they must have some type of information that's making them believe if they're saying that she was
Yeah,
likely abducted. Let me send you this link. It pulls up the article,
there's
the
no
first
phone
article
then.
that I
She
seen
has
with
the
it.
phone, obviously.
Right, she has the phone.
Oh, you just sent it to me okay.
Yep, private chat.
All right, let's look this up here.
So solo, I'm not sure. And that's one of the things that I'm trying to find is some of the kids. Like this is a lot of teens and young adults. Certainly somebody posted pictures
Yep,
of
I've
this
been
party.
searching and scouring. I found a couple parents, but they've said that they talked to their teen and no one saw anything and stuff.
Mhm.
But I mean, I get there was a lot of kids. It's just hard. It's going to be finding that right one.
Right. Well, and not only that, but if they were not necessarily doing something they were supposed to be,
Yeah,
you know, would they even admit to being there to their parents?
right. Because if you remember correctly, all this happened. Something similar happened, although he's older. Hey, tattoos with Michael Bryson, and he's yet to be found. He left off of a bus in one of these similar, apparently, raves at a campground and walked away, and they've not found him to this day. And they have gotten zero help from anybody within the party, probably because they weren't doing things right. So that's what I wonder too, Solo. And the problem is they don't have her phone. All right, let's see what this article here says. A desperate search has been conducted for Kiely Rodni, a 16-year-old girl that went missing Friday and didn't return from a party at a campground. Authorities do believe, or it says, in what authorities believe to be an abduction. Now, that is huge because, as Sleuth was saying, it is very hard to get police to label something an abduction of a 16-year-old. I mean, right, even Kaylee right now, I don't believe they label her as an abduction at all. Authorities said that Kiely Rodni went missing early on Saturday morning, close to the Prosser family campground in Truckee. Police believe she has been kidnapped because her vehicle, a silver 2013, is also missing. She was described as blonde hair. They tell you what she looked like. She reportedly wears jewelry and multiple piercings. She attended a party with over 100 other teenagers and young people. Oh my gosh. She was last spotted on Saturday around 12:30 a.m. Since the celebration, her phone has not worked. And mom put out a message, which didn't really. That's nuts. Wow. So yeah, that is because, especially since I know that her car is missing, right? But that's usually like they don't always say it's an abduction because she did take her car.
Right. You would think that they would say that,
It was a runaway.
she's missing, she could potentially be in danger because, she could have crashed or all of these
Yep.
scenarios that we're throwing around in our mind. You would think they would think that first, please
Yep.
tell us if you're driving and you see this vehicle alongside the road or da 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 da.
Yep.
But for them to come out, day, what is this, 3?
Yep.
Day 2, really? I
Almost
mean,
48 hours. Not even 48
right.
hours yet.
For them to come out, that article was from, I believe, last night. And so you see that they had that meeting yesterday with the teens
Yep.
asking for information, and then they come out later on in the evening or early this morning saying that they believe she was abducted. And so did somebody
Wow.
see her, maybe
That's what
talking
I'm
to
wondering.
somebody or getting into an altercation or something along those lines? Or is this all just coming based off of the friend who has said, she was supposed to be going to sleep last I knew and she wasn't going to leave there?
That's what I'm wondering, is that if somebody has come forward that they saw something and they're just not releasing it yet,
Mhm.
because that's a really drastic switch to make so soon.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean,
So
even with the
I'm gonna jump down and let
yeah.
you run your show,
All right,
but
thank
I
you.
just
No,
wanted to
thanks.
pop
That
up.
was perfect.
Absolutely. See you later.
See you later.
Bye.
So there you have it, y'all. There, I mean, that is very scary. This is very. They did change it. Let's go ahead and look again really quickly. I wanted to show you guys one more time because I do think it's important. The map of where she is for anybody just coming in. Well, where she was. Excuse me. So tattoos. I don't know how close you are to Reno or whatever, but you can see, guys. So just the campground alone that they were near, how far out they were. All right, let me pull back here. It's essentially 100% covered by, I mean, by the reservoir. That's what it's called on both sides. You've got the ranch group campground. So I'm going to assume there are some cabins. Um, Over here, you've got the boat launch and the reservoir that hooks around all of that. Let me go back just a little bit. And down at the very bottom, where it meets the dirt, is where they had this massive bonfire. That has not, Chris, that has not been said yet. Whether is it about 10 hours tattoo? Now, tattoos, let me ask you a question though. I'm sure, given that you live in that 10 hours away, as far as if somebody was missing out in this area, is Nevada as a whole, because I've never been there. I mean, it's essentially like if you went missing, you could be anywhere because it's so vast, correct? There's just like this is so you could see they had the big bonfire down there. There was one other thing I wanted to show you on the also looks like, okay, so if you can see, wow. I'm just gonna tell you all, if my daughter ever wants to go to a party with 100 different people, is it tattoos? That's what I was looking for. Desert. I don't know. I can remember it. Um, with 100 young people and teens. Yeah, yeah. I mean, look at it's just desert, woods, just everywhere. This is crazy. The other thing that is crazy as well is that obviously there was no type of, like, police or anything. Like, how did they just have this massive bonfire that no one saw, or no one, like, that was accepted? And I guess that's just because it's so far out there, maybe it's not even seen. But we do know, based on a guy that saw the flyers. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're gonna have to really convince me, like, based on the fact that flyers were distributed. We know that people came from Reno, from all over. Now, I was going to do a search, and I'm going to do it, and then of the surrounding area, as far as, like, where's the houses that surround it, because I did see pictures on her mom's page. Like, it's no joke in Tahoe. People are, like, skiing down her. She's, like, skiing down her driveway in one picture to get to her job and stuff. It's nuts. So, I think that I think that kids are just really naive right now. I would say that if it's an abduction, I can't imagine that the car will not be found. I mean, yeah, yeah, that's basically where we're at right now with her. And I'm glad Sleuth was here so that she could update me on that, especially the fact that the pictures are not of last night, because that, or the night that she went missing, because that's what I thought originally. But it seemed weird that she would wear a prom type dress to the party. But just keep praying, y'all, that somebody will come forward. Really, tattoos? Tattoos, I'm gonna guess, even though you do know how to have a good time, that your daughter would not be hanging out at a party unchaperoned in the middle of nowhere with 100 people. Yeah, so the news is portraying that those pictures were of that night, and I think that's confusing people. And it's just very stupid that they would even do that, because that wasn't that night. Because now people are going, well, where was she? Did she go to dinner? Like, was she? Yeah, it's just weird. But I will say, I do believe, yeah, and they're saying it was a senior farewell party. Well, that's not the case either. And it's not the case because there somebody that was there, which they did say, please tell people this, or please submit this tip, said that this person said, I've been tattoos to plenty of pop-up raves in the Truckee area as a high schooler. It was posted on one of the many flyers going around. Kids from Auburn, Reno, and Truckee were in attendance. Flyers. It is terrifying that these young teens, whoever it was, were handing out flyers in Reno, Auburn, those high popular, anywhere really, that anyone, y'all, could have seen. Exactly, S. Hackett, exactly. Anyone could have seen a flyer, a sicko predator, and said, hello, this is my opportunity, and been planning it and just targeting somebody that looked like her. It's very, very just horrible. Yeah, exactly, Solo, and she wasn't. She was wearing jeans or something like that, if I remember correctly, which was what was confusing people. Exactly, tattoos. Yeah, and they did, and they handed them out in all those places. They said one of many flyers handed out in those places. And my mind is just blown that there was no type of parental, I don't know. And maybe their parents didn't know. Maybe look, we've all been teens before. Maybe they had no idea that their kids were handing out flyers for this. It sounds like based on what this gentleman said that pop-up raves are very common there. You know as well as I do that you know what it's been said happens at raves, and just what Punkette is saying right here. That would be super easy for a trafficker to have planned the party. You're so right, tattoos. That yeah, that's a great point. I will, Chris. I will. And you're right, S. Hockett. No matter how many times we did tattoos, I don't doubt that. I'm so glad you're still alive, tattoos. Holy cow. Um, and like S. Hockett is right. Someone is always left alone. You go and you say, tell your kids to stick to one another, all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, this girl, allegedly, based on what her friend is saying, was not in a shape to drive and went into her car to sleep it off. And that was it. True. Okay, yep. So there you've got it. Tattoos. Now the reason tattoos, y'all, is such an important person why I keep referencing is because she lives in Nevada and look, experienced it and can tell you, here's what it's like. Here's where in the desert yeah, just she's telling you straight up. Chris, I think so because it's her best friend. It's the girl who's basically been the only one, the last person to talk to her. Yep, exactly, Solo. Isn't that like one of the biggest things at a rave is drinks being spiked? But unfortunately, it to me it sounds like she was probably targeted and we don't know when the party started. We don't know who was there. Somebody could have been watching her all night just waiting. And Tattoo's poor daughter, she's never going to be able to go anywhere because Tattoos knows exactly what happens at these things. And what Tattoos is saying is right. She did not, there wasn't the technology back then, right? So going to a desert party wasn't quite. Punkette, I don't know. And the only thing I can think about is we have a society of kids, and we all felt that way too, that felt nothing's going to happen to me. I'm sure that they had been to parties like this before, based on things I have read from mom. And I don't know that, please don't. This is just what I gathered was that they have led in the Tahoe area a pretty sheltered type of life. They live way out in the middle of nowhere in a very, 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 very nice house. And oh gosh, see, this is Tattoo saying her daughter will never go to it because, yep, exactly, S. Hackett, never Uber alone. And I, before even doing this live, I talked to my daughter and I just said, listen, I just want you to know right now, like, you're never like I give lectures all the time based on this, but yeah, you should never even go to the bathroom alone as a at a bar or a club. It's just too scary nowadays. Um, so I don't want to get too up, but I did want to share with you guys this article just to kind of talk about it, and we're going to dissect it a little bit more this week. But I do think it's important to share because the FBI is asking for help, and I want to make sure. And so Sleuth Mom has a live, and she's amazing at these. So I will, when I find out when her live is, I will make sure I post that. Tattoos, I would love if you would help at all. Um, you want to message me or something? If just kind of give me like so, I don't know. I would love to like pick your brain on some of this, like what it was like, what are some of the things that go on there and stuff. Yeah, right, Punkette. And like Tattoo said, her parents never knew what she did, and I can guarantee you these parents had no idea they were handing out flyers in Reno. Okay, let me just. Sorry, my computer's dying. All right, I just want to make sure I touch on this. So this is what I was telling you guys about that I accidentally just not accidentally, but I just heard about it last night. Um, okay, thanks, tattoos. There are 170 missing Native Americans in New Mexico right now in Navajo Nation. I was shocked. So much so that I believe Chris McDonough, he was actually asked and just left to go help with this because the FBI is at a standstill and they cannot figure this out, and it is bad. And so let me just share with you what this article says here. In an effort to address the crisis of missing indigenous people, the FBI announced Monday it is releasing a list of more than 170 Native Americans it has verified as missing throughout Mexico, New Mexico, and the Navajo Nation that stretches all the way to Arizona and Utah. FBI officials said at a news conference that the effort is being publicized to help locate the missing individuals, increase transparency, and encourage relatives of missing indigenous persons who are on the list to reach out to local law enforcement to file a report. The project is in addition to FBI's continuing efforts to call attention to the unsolved homicides, missing person cases it is investigating. For a long time, the issue of missing Native Americans has been in the news. Not really. And a lot of people have been wondering if anybody is paying attention, said Special Agent in Charge Raul Bujanda of Albuquerque FBI Division. I'm here to assure you the FBI has been paying attention, and together with our partners, we are taking significant steps toward justice for these victims, the families, and the community. FBI officials said the list is a result of almost 6 months of work combining and validating different databases of missing persons in New Mexico. The FBI plans to name them monthly. So that is that is horrifying because that is 6 months of work that they are putting in. So that's in 6 months they've come up with 170 missing people, Native American people in the Navajo Nation, spreading all the way to Utah and Arizona. But there's one thing that I just caught there, and that is that it said they are trying to get the family members to file a report. I don't know because I don't understand the dynamic of what it's like to live, on a reservoir, and why wouldn't you file a report? But I'm sure there's a reason. And maybe Punkette can help me with that behind the scenes because I don't totally understand all of that. And so maybe this is something that she can tag team with me. But I will say that if that's in 6 months, 170 missing people, and a lot of them were children, and I will put the link up in my community post that shows, the images and the names. I mean, it's something really bad going on, and it is very scary. Hey, Saul Goodman, what up? Okay, so a lot of people and within the tribe do not trust outside law enforcement. Okay, that's what I wondered, Punkette, because I mean this is nuts, y'all. Yeah, I know tattoos, 170, and I loved how it said this has been brought up in the news a lot. I was like, really? Because it's the first I've heard of it. But I know that it's bad enough that they're calling on Chris McDonough to come out and help, and I would say if the FBI is in a state of desperation like this, then it's bad. Oh, I love you too, Saul. Hey, Diana. Punkette, I would really like it if you would work with this on me. So I've got tattoos working Reno with with Tahoe with me, and Punkette, if you would work on this because isn't there? So I want to be completely transparent. I do not understand this. There's their own set of laws within the reservation, correct? I want to make sure that I understand this before I spit this out. And then there's the outside law. So if they were to commit a crime it would be based on the reservation law. So I always got, yes, that is okay. That's what I always got confused about. So not only is making sure that we get these faces and these names out there, it's very important too to show the families, I guess, that there is a support system that they can file the report for their family member. Um, that is very sad to me that some of them don't trust outside law enforcement, and so they won't file a report for their missing people. But I do know that that is downright sad that 170 people can go missing in 6 months, and not a soul out here really knows much about it. Oh, okay. Exactly, S. Hockett. Yeah. It probably just leads to more people being taken. The tribal. Oh, okay, that makes sense, Punkette. Yeah. Wow. So I'm gonna get with Punkette, and she's gonna help me. Yeah, because look, I just don't. I didn't grow up on a reservation, so I don't know a lot of things, and I think that's why it's been tricky to get it in the mainstream news, but it needs to be. So I just realized I have my shirt on backwards. That's awesome. But all right, y'all. Well, listen, I'm gonna run, and I will put in my community post when Sleuth Mom's live tonight is about Kylie. Hopefully, we'll have a little more information as well then, and we will also. Um, oh, I did want to show you guys. Hold on one second. So this is the house Kylie grew up in. This is her house. It's listed apparently right now. Okay, never mind. It's not on there. I thought it was. So somebody did this image, which was cool too. But yeah, tonight at 8, I will be streaming the Uvalde board meeting. Tonight is going to be kind of brutal, I imagine, because it is a open public forum. The last one was not. The time before that was. So we will see if the district has answers. I do expect that it is going to be heated because if you do not know, the principal was reinstated to position of director of special education, and there are a lot of parents that are furious that she was ever. Oh wow, tattoos. That'd be cool. I mean, yeah, I wonder if they do. Oh my gosh, so in New Mexico news they have an official serial. Okay then. Gosh. But so yeah, so tonight's board meeting, I will be interested to see if the district comes with actual solutions now. So they're less than a month away from their school supposed to start. So we will see what takes place there. But all right guys, well thank you so much. I will talk to y'all later.